that first day of school feeling can be a metaphor for life and making the first day of school every day. What is going on, my friends? Welcome back to another episode of The Morning Takeaway. So today is, what's today? Today's Tuesday. I put a story up this morning on my Instagram talking about the first day of school feeling, and I kind of want to just go on a quick little rant about that for today's podcast and just give you some food for thought. But before we get into there, don't forget to like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for me so you get all the notifications when I post. And speaking of food for thought, funny story, my best friend in all of life who I've talked to every single day for like 8 years just moved in with me, totally like random. He didn't apply for a job, meanwhile living in Nashville, where I'm from, to live here. He wasn't applying for the job. It just kind of happened. He just took a shot at the wall. I was like, oh, there's an opening in Newport Beach. Sure enough, gets the job. Out of all places in the world, he's now 5 minutes away from me and living in my place until he finds his own, right? So anyways, with that said, why I was saying it is he put this quote on my board, and it has nothing to do with the topic today, but he asked me to read it today and try to interpret it. So I'm going to read it out loud because you probably can't read it on the camera, and I want you to drop a comment and let me know what your take on it is. I'll give you my brief take on it just to give you some clues and where my mind went with it, but I want to hear. So the quote goes, "Even in our sleep, pain which cannot forget falls drop by drop upon the heart until in our own despair, against our will, comes wisdom through the awful grace of God." So whatever you believe in, what do you take from that? In a nutshell, what I take from it is basically the struggle is always going to come, and it's inevitable, and with that comes the wisdom by the awful grace of God, right? So whatever you believe, that's kind of the way I interpreted it, and him as well. My first thought was to kind of go on like even in our sleep, like we're unconscious, and it's our subconscious mind talking to us in our sleep. A lot of different ways you could go about that, but in a nutshell, I think that's the kind of the conclusion we came to. But without further ado, let's talk about that first day of school feeling. So this is completely random, and I guess it might have something to do with the fact that right now is the time that school is kind of going back in. But I woke up this morning with like the craziest excitement about just waking up, and I think that's number one, a good thing, that if you can find something to get excited about in the morning. And I've talked about it before, saying it out loud, I am excited for today. I am excited for today. And just talking your brain into it, like that's huge. But having the excitement to say and know that you have a plan, know that you've written out your schedule, you're going to follow it, you're going to prove to yourself, build that self-confidence by doing each and every single thing on your list, prioritizing it, yada, yada. To me, that's exciting. You have a plan, you're able to go out and carry it out, get things done. But I was having that exact same feeling of the first day of school. Like it was like kind of nostalgic. I haven't seen anybody with a backpack. I haven't seen anybody going back and forth like to the school bus. I just randomly had this feeling and was like, whoa, this is like, you know, when you have those feelings, when you have random, just like, oh wow, I feel like deja vu kind of, I don't know. Anyways, so that's how I was feeling this morning. And then I went to work out, or I went on my walk, and I was like feeling really grateful for the littlest things, which is also a practice that I took from Tony Robbins. Like one of the 3 things that I write down in my journal every morning is something that with gratitude, one should be something as simple as like the wind on your face. So like one thing this morning for me was the wet grass on my feet. I walk barefoot for a mile in the morning before I jump in the ocean. And it was a recurring process of everything that I did that was very just exciting. And I was excited to get the next thing done. And I had this feeling of the first day of school. I don't know why, but to me, as I said in my story, without getting too long on this, is the fact that that first day of school feeling can be a metaphor for life and making the first day of school every day. And if you can figure out how to find something that's exciting in each day that you look forward to, or you get the things on your to-do list done. I call it a productivity list. Done. Then you reward yourself and you look forward to that excitement. It gives you a little bit more motivation throughout the day. Like for me, it's working out, it's running, it's any way to achieve that mental clarity after physical exercise, right? And as well as self-growth and talking with you guys and whatever it may be. But with that said, it's also kind of the example that you give or you've heard when you're going to school all the time, aka you're going through life every single day, day after day. It's not the first day of school anymore, so it's not new and exciting. It's not new, like it's you know that first day of school is going to be easy. So you go, you're excited to see everybody again, and then it kind of goes through that lull period of just like another day of school. Well, in life, we kind of get to that flow state and start to wither off. It takes one little thing to get off track, and now we're like, oh, here we are in this lull, right? So where I'm going with that is if we can create, the metaphor, sorry, I lost my train of thought. But through that lull, eventually you're going to have a field trip. And on that day of the field trip, you wake up with a different energy. You wake up excited to go on that field trip. You wake up excited to pack your lunch, pack your swimsuit if you're going to a park. I don't know what you guys did for field trips, but you get the idea. You wake up with a different mentality on life because you know that you're switching something up. So if I want to go down another rabbit hole, how do you get motivated? One of the things that I think really helped me in the beginning of just like figuring out routines and figuring out like daily practices was, hey, I'm going to try something new this week. One thing, whether it was I'm going to take cold showers for the 3 minutes every morning and see how I feel, or I'm going to intermittent fast and that is stuck, or whatever it might be. Pick something, and it doesn't have to be that extreme, but hey, I'm going to go on a walk when I wake up and before I go to bed. By the way, you see on Instagram that I post 10,000 steps a day for a year. The average human being walks 3 miles a day. So if you can implement a 1 mile walk before, right when you wake up, which is also great to get the sun in your eyes, and then right after dinner, before you go to bed, you're now at 5 miles, which is right around the equivalent of 10,000 steps. Anyways, before I go down that, or I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole, but same idea, implementing new things. And I think that's what really helped me just get motivated and create that every day is going to be exciting because there's something new to look forward to, right? So same idea. Again, another analogy is when you know you have a job interview one day or the next day, you set your clothes out. You make sure they're de-wrinkled. You get everything ready for breakfast. You have your lunch packed. You have everything ready to be on time. And then you go, you crush it, you get the job, and halfway through that first month, you're already starting to feel, got to go to work again, or whatever it might be. You go through that same lull in life, right? And it's how do we figure out how to get through that lull with creating some kind of excitement. And I think that's really just the gist of what I wanted to get across. I know I've talked about excitement and motivation before, but kind of wanted to just go on a little rant and tell you how I was feeling today. So that's my morning takeaway. If you took something away from this episode and you feel like it's worthy to share with somebody, or maybe I said something that resonated with you, please share this. That's what helps me grow on this platform. YouTube's a whole different animal than Instagram and TikTok, and I definitely enjoy those as well. But it's a little harder to grow, and sharing is the easiest way to repay me. I don't make money on YouTube, so maybe one day. But anyways, before we end this, I'm going to do my little generate random question. So our random question for today, wow, that's fitting. What's your opinion on social media? I think this is a good question. I was going to say this is not a great question to answer because that's all I do. But my opinion on social media. I think it is an awesome avenue to get value from as long as it's not abused. And what I mean by that is there's so much information out there from people that you can get good value out of rather than maybe following the accounts that don't really, they're kind of in it for themselves, right? And I don't know. The easiest way for me to describe it in my industry is I get on social media for the sole purpose of being myself and trying to generate positivity and share mental health, whatever it is, to, help people, because someone in my life was able to do the same thing. I was able to get on social media and use it for those purposes to ultimately change my life. Listening to podcasts, watching motivational videos, whatever it might be, learning from people. And I think on the opposite end of the spectrum with social media, we should do a podcast on this. On the opposite end of the spectrum, it's hard to align in a way that is positive for some people, I guess. And we've talked about this before. The art of comparison is the thief of joy. And there's so many things out there that are like, oh my gosh, look at this person living the greatest life or doing the coolest things or whatever it might be. And it's just not realistic. There are literally, you can pay a day to make it look like you're on a private jet and then post it just to make it look like you had a crazy cool life. And that is sickening to me. So on the opposite side of it, you never really know who you're following unless you're following genuine people. And there are good people out there, right? And if you're posting, I think it's a great way to promote your brand or create a business or whatever it might be. And if there are people that are listening to this that are scared of posting on social media, my best advice is to not give a crap what anybody thinks, because that was my biggest hurdle to get over when I started posting every single day for a year straight. So that's my little advice. I went on a little secondary rant there on social media, but maybe we should do a podcast on that. Anyways, that is the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, if there's something that you took away from the takeaway, please share it. And I will see you next time. I guess it's Thursday, so I will see you on Sunday for a vlog. I'll look forward to that. So that said, have an awesome freaking day, and don't forget to smile.